Hello and howdy there. Last night I saw The Life of Pi, and I enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8. It may be the slight victim of high expectations. I had much anticipation waiting for this film. I believe it was before Prometheus that I saw a trailer for this. Prometheus was filmed in 3D. I saw it in 3D. Beforehand, it had a trailer for Life of Pi, which was just a scene from the film. It's the flying fish scene. And they basically just showed, whatever, that 3-minute scene. And I couldn't believe it. Again, I kind of remember the feeling of watching that trailer more than I do of watching, Prometheus, the film to follow it. So I was pumped to see this film. I also feel that Ang Lee is one of our master directors, in the world. He transcends borders. He's brilliant. He's an artist of the utmost quality. So again, I was pumped for this movie, and I love animals, and I thought there would be some awesome animal action, and I love the ocean. So again, this was shaping up to be like my dream film, and it wasn't my dream film, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was achingly beautiful. It was hallucinatory. The visuals were, again, just gorgeous, and at times very psychedelic, which I really enjoyed. I'd say the only thing keeping it from a higher score is something kind of indescribable or unknown. It just was okay. The film is told as a story. We're in present day or what have you. In the future, Pi is an adult, and he is telling his story to a reporter, never really sure, maybe I just can't remember it, but, a guy is interested in his story. He wants to write about his story. I can't remember if he's doing an interview or trying to write a book or whatever, but he's heard that Pi's story will make him believe in God. So he's come to find his faith to Pi. He's come to Pi to find his faith. Everything that takes place now, with grown-up Pi and the interviewer, it just, to me, almost breached like being cheesy a little bit sentimental, a little bit melodramatic, a little bit pastel. Everything seemed like soft focus. Everything was a tight shot of the face, meaning that the actors had to be at their A game. When that giant screen is nothing but a face, you have to see everything in that face, and you have to believe everything in that face. And sometimes I just didn't. It basically I try to, every time I find a criticism for a film, I try to explain it away through art to where it is no longer a criticism. And it seemed to me, the interviewer's a white dude. An American. And I think he's pretty much the only American in the film. And he's portrayed as unbelieving, faithless, he subtly mocks the story that Pi tells, and his transition into believer. Again, it seemed kind of soft to me. It just seemed kind of unbelievable. I don't know how else to put it, but he didn't sell it, to me. If there's one lackluster performance in the film, it's his. That's my only beef with the film, is all of the modern day, what's happening now scenes, which are very limited to, the beginning, a little bit in the middle, and then at the end. But again, those are like when the points are being driven home, and I kept on being distracted by, I don't, again, I'd have to see the film again. I want to see the film again, as it was just unbelievably beautiful. But it just seemed that, there wasn't much transition there. He seemed to go through this big life change, and he did it all with a slight smirk on his face. And I thought that might be kind of a point, trying to sell this film to an American audience. And, having them, Americans are very stubborn, and we mock that which we do not understand. And so I felt that, it's just some kind of slight, There's just something there that I can't quite pin down, but that's the only thing that didn't make me, absolutely love this film. I guess I never said what the film was about. The film is about a boy named Pi. We meet him as a young boy. Well, again, we meet him as not an old man, but a grown man. Then we go back to him as a little kid. They set up the story. His family has fallen on hard times. They own a zoo in India. They moved to, I guess, were they going to America? I can't remember now. Anyway, they set out across the ocean with their animals to start a new life. God, where was it? I can't remember. And along the way, the ship that they are on crashes. Has a wreck of an unknown sort. We never are, shown what actually happens. There just is a storm and the ship sinks, leaving Pi alone with a boat full of animals. A zebra, a hyena, an orangutan, and a Bengal tiger. And so this is Pi's adventure of survival on the ocean with a boat full of animals. I don't really, there's definitely a big twist. I'm not going to discuss that, as that's kind of like the whole point of the film. But it did hit me. This comes from a novel. Apparently a yet another unfilmable novel is filmed this year to go along with Cosmopolis and what was the other one? God, now I can't remember it. But again, from an unfilmable book, and now we have Life of Pi. Gosh, that middle one is killing me. And I just saw it a few weeks ago. Cloud Atlas. Cloud Atlas, also from an unfilmable novel. All the performances were really good. I can't tell you, the only name I can tell you is Gerard Depardieu. I should be able to tell you Pi's name, but I can't. So he was a young actor. I think he was in something. He looked familiar, but then again, I'm not for certain. I mean, I know he isn't the main guy from Slumdog Millionaire, but maybe he was in Slumdog Millionaire. I'm not sure. Anyway, all of the acting was really fantastic. The young man carries the show. I mean, he's got to be in that boat for 2 hours, which he does. He also has to act with animals, and then sometimes probably in green screen where there were no animals. That's one thing that I loved about the film, is I couldn't tell when it was a real animal, and I couldn't tell when it was a CGI animal. The special effects are progressing to this photorealism that is taking away any special effects that I'm used to. It's becoming, again, photorealistic. So I really enjoyed that, the technical aspect of that, about how it's becoming, so crystal clear. I would have to say that most of it is CGI, but again, I know for a fact that there was really a tiger on the boat sometimes. So it was very interesting trying to figure out when it was and when it wasn't the actual tiger. The music was good. The score, it was good. All of the acting really good, with the exception of it's like the tone of those scenes. It's just weird. Every time we went to it, I just got turned off, basically. There's no other way to describe it. I just got turned off. It was the bright lighting, the sentimentality of it. It bordered on sappy. It bordered on sappy, and we're dealing with a film that is about faith and holding on to what it means to be human. And it could have very easily been a giant sap fest, cheese fest for the entire film, but yet it isn't. While he's in his ordeal, it's when it's over that it's, a little sappy. So it puzzled me, it got to me. But I really enjoyed it. Again, Ang Lee is one of our great directors. I think even his lesser films are better than, most anyone else's films. So he is kind of this master of pacing and tone. And again, I think he tells great human lessons over the course of all of his work. And you will, again, take a lot out of this film. It will speak to you, It's about solitude and, discovering oneself, what you are capable of in the most dire of situations. And what is taken from you. Will you ever be the same? I don't really know what else to say about it, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was just absolutely gorgeous. Probably tied with Moonrise Kingdom. Maybe Moonrise Kingdom was a little bit more beautiful, but probably because it didn't have to exist so much in a CGI world. Life of Pi, definitely has to exist in a CGI world somewhat, but it still manages to look, beautiful. Again, sometimes visuals are downright psychedelic. It was awesome. Sometimes I just couldn't help but just stare. Just stare open-mouthed. It was beautiful. But I think Moonrise Kingdom's got to be just a little bit, just because Moonrise Kingdom relied more on, traditional set locations, non-CGI, lighting techniques, and cinematography. I think it just gives it the edge for being less computerized, I guess. But Life of Pi is definitely one of the most beautiful films of the year. One of the most beautiful films you'll ever see. You know, just gorgeous. And the message is also very beautiful. It's a beautiful film. So I think I'll leave it at that. I don't really know what else to say. So that's Life of Pi. I'll give it a solid 8. Thank you very much.